going on a journey to explore this profound mystery from multiple perspectives. From what science can tell us to the rich tapestry of beliefs held around the world. Let's start with the biological process. When the heart stops beating, a state known as clinical death occurs. If blood flow isn't restored, the body enters biological death. This is the point of no return. Brain cells, which are incredibly sensitive to oxygen deprivation, are among the first to break down. Over the following hours and days, the body undergoes a series of predictable changes, a process that forensic scientists use to determine the time of death. But what about our consciousness? Our thoughts, memories, our very sense of self? This is where things get truly fascinating and move beyond what biology alone can explain. Many people who have had near-death experiences, or NDEs, report incredibly vivid and often transformative events. These accounts frequently share common themes, regardless of the person's cultural or religious background. One of the most well-known elements is the feeling of leaving the physical body, often described as floating above the scene and observing what's happening, like watching a movie. Many report traveling through a tunnel with a bright, welcoming light at the end. This light is often described as a source of immense love and peace, a feeling of coming home. During these experiences, some people encounter beings of light, which they might interpret as angels, spiritual guides, or deceased loved ones. These encounters are typically described as being overwhelmingly positive and reassuring. Another common feature is a life review, where a person's entire life flashes before their eyes. This isn't just a simple playback of events. It's an immersive experience where they relive moments and understand the impact of their actions on others, often from the other person's perspective. It's described as a moment of profound learning and understanding, not of judgment. So what does science make of these experiences? Researchers have proposed several physiological and psychological explanations. One theory suggests that the stress of a near-death event triggers a flood of endorphins and other neurochemicals in the brain. These chemicals could create feelings of peace and euphoria. The tunnel and light phenomenon might be explained by a lack of oxygen to the brain's visual cortex, causing peripheral vision to shut down first, creating a tunnel effect. Another theory points to the temporal lobe, a part of the brain associated with memory and sensory processing. Abnormal activity in this region, perhaps caused by the trauma of dying, could generate hallucinations and out-of-body sensations. While these scientific explanations offer potential mechanisms for the asterisk, they don't fully explain the why these experiences are so consistent, profound, and life-altering for those who have them. Many who undergo NDEs return with a changed perspective on life, often with a reduced fear of death, an increased sense of purpose, and a greater appreciation for love and connection. Beyond the realm of science and personal experience, we have the vast landscape of religious and spiritual beliefs. For millennia, cultures around the world have developed intricate frameworks to understand what lies beyond our mortal existence. In many Abrahamic religions like Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, death is seen as a transition to an afterlife. The soul is believed to separate from the body and face a form of divine judgment, which determines its eternal fate, either a state of reward in heaven or paradise or a state of punishment. The concept of a final resurrection, where the body and soul are reunited at the end of time, is also a central tenet for many. Eastern philosophies offer a different perspective. In religions like Hinduism and Buddhism, the concept of reincarnation or rebirth is central. This is the idea that the soul or consciousness does not simply end at death, but is reborn into a new life. This cycle of death and rebirth, known as samsara, is driven by karma, the sum of a person's actions and their consequences. The goal is to break free from this cycle and achieve a state of ultimate liberation, known as moksha in Hinduism or nirvana in Buddhism. This isn't about an eternal paradise, but about transcending the cycle of suffering and merging with the ultimate reality. Ancient Egyptians had one of the most elaborate belief systems surrounding the afterlife. They believed that preserving the body through mummification was essential for the soul to navigate the underworld. The deceased would face a series of trials and judgments, culminating in the weighing of the heart ceremony. The heart was weighed against the feather of Mat, the goddess of truth and justice. If the heart was lighter than the feather, the person was granted passage to the eternal paradise of the field of reeds. Spiritualism, a belief system that gained popularity in the 19th century, holds that the spirits of the dead can and do communicate with the living, often through mediums. They believe that death is simply a transition to a spirit world that coexists with our own, a place of continued growth and learning. So we have the biological shutdown, the mysterious and transformative near-death experiences, and the rich, diverse tapestry of global beliefs. What can we take away from all of this? Perhaps the most important takeaway is that while our physical bodies have a finite lifespan, the question of what happens to our consciousness remains one of the greatest open questions of all time. Science provides a framework for understanding the physical process, but it has yet to fully grasp the nature of consciousness itself. And for billions of people, faith provides comfort, meaning, and a moral compass, shaping how they live their lives in preparation for what comes next. Maybe the answer isn't about finding one single definitive truth. Maybe the beauty lies in the exploration itself. Thinking about death encourages us to think more deeply about life. It prompts us to consider our actions, our relationships, and our purpose. The prospect of an end, whether it's a final stop or a new beginning, gives our time here a profound sense of value. It pushes us to love more deeply, live more fully, and make the most of every single moment we have. Ultimately, what happens when we die may remain a mystery until we experience it for ourselves. But by exploring these different perspectives, we can find comfort, challenge our own beliefs, and perhaps live a more meaningful and less fearful life. What do you believe happens after we die? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to read them. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into one of life's biggest questions, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content that makes you think. See you next time.